Hi everybody, it's me George here again. I thought I'd do a update on my Arch Linux install on Virtualbox. Now I have Arch Linux already, as you can see right here, with XFCE and everything. But I thought I would show you how to do it on Virtualbox for those people who are interested in Arch Linux, trying it out to see if it's something that they like instead of doing something else like Fedora or Red Hat or Ubuntu or Debian. Try Arch. It's a great way to learn Linux. I've been doing it for about 3.5, maybe 4 years now, and I've become very good in doing Arch, and I do it line by line. What you're going to see right now, what I'm doing, is how I always set it up, and I don't do like a disk image or a batch file setup anymore. None of that. I do it line by line. It's better that way. I know what's being installed. It gives me minimum use that I don't have to worry about junk files and programs running in the background. I know what's there. So let's get started. I have VirtualBox already started here with the Arch ISO. I'm not going to show you how to do that from VirtualBox because there are other tutorials out there, and I've done it before in a previous video from a year ago. I'm not going to do it again. So this is the latest one, November of 2016, that image. And when you're on here, itself, you're going to see the menu right here, the x86_64 and the i686. That's for 32-bit. The other one's for 64. What you should do is hit the tab key, space, and type VGA equals 792. The reason why is that when we do the initial setup, I want to expand it out, and you'll see in just a second. See, it's just a bigger window. Just makes it a little bit easier for me to do this. My good friend Midfinger, who passed away this summer, Dan Ankles is his actual name. In the past year, we've been a little bit more than a year. We've been chatting back and forth. We started becoming friends. He even subscribed to my channel, one of the first big ones, Linux guys that subscribed to my channel. I appreciated what he did. And I like to continue doing a lot of Arch stuff. Kind of like what he was doing is what I was doing. We were both kind of doing it at the same time. So I'm going to continue doing stuff like this because I feel that there are a lot of people who like Arch, who want to get into Arch. This is a good way to learn Linux. Trust me, it is. So now we're in the main menu. We're in root. It goes straight into root. And what we need to do first is see if we have internet connection. Just type ping space -C, meaning how many times we want to ping it. Space 3 times, space, and then a web address. I'm going to choose 8.8.8.8 because that's the DNS server for Google. And it's always on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's never gone down. Why? Because it uses Linux. It does. Actually, look it up. So we got internet. Now, if you don't have internet, if you type DHCPCD on a desktop or even on a laptop, it will let you. Well, actually, it's just only on desktop. DHCPCD is only for desktop. If you have a Wi-Fi, you need to first start Wi-Fi-menu and set it up that way to get your internet. Select your router, your password, and then do the test on the ping. All right, so let's clear up. And on here, I have 4 gigs of RAM memory, 20 gigs of hard drive space, 3D acceleration, all that basic stuff. That's how I have it set up. So next we need to partition. We're going to do CF disk. That's my favorite partitioning software. And you'll see the reason why the command line I like using this one. So it's going to tell you what type of label, GPT for the EFIs, they're UEFIs, excuse me. For legacy, just do DOS. I'm just going to do DOS. It's just easier to do that. And then in here, it's going to say, okay, you got this disk space, what you want to do. On the bottom, you'll see right here, it says new. So we're going to select new. I'm not going to separate it into boot, swap, home, and /root. I'm just going to do /root. So we're going to use the whole partition. Leave that as a primary. And then we're going to make it bootable. So I'm going to scroll all the way to the left, make it bootable, and then scroll all the way to where it says write. And we're going to write it to the disk and type yes, we do. There we go. It's done. We're going to quit. Type clear. All right. Next, we're going to format the drive. So we're going to use the mkfs command, and we're going to do .ext4. It's the most reliable, best one out there. There's ButterFS. You could do extended 3 if you want to, but 4 is the one that I prefer the most. And then we're going to click space, and we're going to say where we're going to format. DEV, which is the device, / and then the actual drive itself. Now, if you're not sure what drive that you have, if you type LSBLK, enter, and it will tell you what drives are available on there. The SR0 is the memory that it's running on. So ignore that. It's the SDA. So you'll have SDA, SDB, SDC, depending on how many hard drives you have. So that's how you know. So we're going to do that again. mkfs extended 4 space DEV SDA1, because that's what we did. We set it up as 1. It showed it as SDA1. Hit enter. It formatted it. Now, if you have a SSD, it's going to format in a different way in blocks. It probably will format faster than a regular hard drive will. So if you have like a 1 terabyte, ooh, it's going to take a while. If you have an SSD, usually people will have like 120 to 250 gig SSDs, because they'll put the regular stuff on there and then the other stuff on the regular hard drive. Now we need to mount the drive so we could use it. So it'll be mount space / DEV / SDA1. So we're going to mount that drive space, and then we're going to say what we're going to do. We're going to mount it into its own drive. So we do / MNT. There we go. So if we type df space -h, you're going to see down there all the way in the bottom right here, it says SDA has, out of 20 gigs, we've used 45 megabytes of space already, just by partitioning formatting. That's it. We didn't put anything else on there. All right. If you were doing swap, you would do an mk swap / DEV / SDA maybe 2 if you had a second one, and then after that you would have to turn on swap. So you do swap on / DEV, and then the drive itself, like that. But I'm not doing it on this one, so we're going to ignore that. All right, that's clear. Next, what we're going to do is update the mirror. The reason why is we want a faster download speeds from the beginning to make it easier for us from here on. Usually people will do this much later. I say do it now. So we're going to do pacman / pacman space dash capital S lowercase y. We're going to update the mirror because the default one is a server, Arch server in France, but it's not really that fast. We want the fastest, closest, and latest, and the best protocol rating there is out there. And we're going to use a program out there called Reflector. So we're going to do Pacman space dash capital S space Reflector. So we're going to download that. It's going to download Python. It uses Python scripting to do the actual mirror update. It's kind of like mirror update that Arch Linux uses, but this is better. Reflector does a better job. And you'll see what I mean when we do it. Okay, so now that we have Reflector installed, so we're going to use Reflector. Reflector dash dash. I'm going to use some options here, and we're going to use verbose to see what we're doing. Dash dash the country. Dash dash country space and then single quotes. I'm in the United States. Quotes, whatever country you're in. So if you're in Germany, put Germany. If you're in Australia, use Australia. If you're in Brazil, use Brazil. I'm here in the US, that's why I'm doing it. It'll be mirrors only in the United States, which is the closest. Space dash F space, which is the fastest. I want 20 of the fastest ones. Space dash L, meaning for the latest, space 20 of them. We want to keep it consistent. Space dash P is the type of protocol. HTTP, FTP, rsync, we're going to use HTTP. Space dash dash sort. How we're going to do it, we want to rate it from the fastest to the slowest. So we're going to put rate right after dash dash sort, and then we're going to do space dash dash save, where we're going to save it. The reason why is it doesn't really know, so we have to tell it where to save it. We're going to put it at the default file, so it's /etc /pacman.d/mirrorlist. It's going to take a couple seconds. There you go. It's telling us the rating and the servers. So as you could see right there, the HTTP /IL Illinois, which it is, .mirrors, LINAXC, I don't know how to pronounce that, .net /Linux is the fastest one. It's rating at 945.97 kilobits per second at a time at 0.13 seconds. That's the fastest one I see there. And then there is the GigaNet one at 800. Let's see, and then there's some others out there. If you actually, nano /pac.d/mirrorless, you'll see it right there. See? And it tells you one by one by one by one all the fastest. See, generated by Reflector. See that? So if you type df-h, let's see, we have 45 megabits. That's wrong because we're still using the memory. Once we go to chroot, it might be different. Even after we install the pack strap, it might look different as well. So let's type pacman space dash capital S lowercase y. Let's do that again. Oh yeah, big difference. You'll see in the download for the repos. Much faster, much better. Okay. Next, we're going to do the pack strap. We're going to install the base packages. So we're going to use pack strap dash I in cursive. Well, we want to see what's going on. Some people don't use it. I do. / where we're going to put it. We're going to install it in the mount, the base of the /. And which one we're going to install? We're going to install the base, which is a package for Arch, and then base-devel, which is the development files as well. So when we hit enter, it'll sync, it'll say, hey, we got 50 files in this group for the base. Do you want to install them? Yes, all of them. And then it says for the base dash devel, which is the development, we got 25. Yes. 234 megabytes downloaded, 809 after the install. Let's go ahead and install it. This shouldn't take that long because I have a fast processor, I have fast download. It depends on how fast your internet connection, how fast is your drive, how fast is your processor, how much memory. It makes a big of a difference. When I had a slower processor, not as much memory, and a slow hard drive when I first started doing Arch at first, yeah, it took a little bit longer. But now that I have a faster drive, faster processor, more RAM memory, better graphics, faster internet connection, oh, huge difference. And it will tell us at the end how long it took us to do this, how fast it took us to install the pack strap. All right, it's just about done. Yeah, MKIO setup. There we go. GCC. There we go. Done. Okay, so it took about 29 seconds to do this. That's fast. That's fast. All right. Now, if we type df space dash h, let's see. See, it says 1.2 gigs. So now it's a little bit more accurate. Might be off. We'll see, but that's okay. That's clear. Let's go on to the next. We're going to update the Pac-Man keys. This is important. All the other Arch Linux distros have always had issues with this, but if you do the base install like this, you'll never have an issue with Pac-Man keys, and you'll see what I mean. So we're going to type pacman -key space -- init, INIT. All right, done. Initialize the keys. Now we're going to do pacman -key again, dash, and we're going to use the populate command space. We want Arch Linux for that, which is just the base. We're not a special distro. If you were a Manjaro, you would put Manjaro and also Arch Linux. If you're on Tegros, it would be a Tegros and Arch Linux, and so on with the other distros. Here it's just Arch. There you go. As you can see there, it disabled the old keys and it put the new ones. And it says the next trust database will be on the January 1st of next year. So we got some time. All right, so we got that done. Next, we got to do the fstab. So we're going to do fstab capital U, where we're doing the UUIC / mount. That's where we're going to put it to. And then dash forward arrow space, meaning that we're going to override what we're going to put it into, /mount /Etsy /fstab. So fstab is where it's going to generate. There we go. Type nano mount /Etsy /fstab. We want to see. Yes, it did. It did do it right. But we're going to go in here, pass on that line, the UUID, after where it says order, comma, discard. If you have an SSD, you want to put that. If you don't have an SSD, leave it alone. It's perfectly fine. So Control O to save, Control X to exit. All right, next we are going into this ch root for Arch. So we're going to do arch-ch root /mount, because that's where we want to go. We want it to go into the mount. And then what type of bash script we're doing. We're doing the bin /bash. There we go. Now if we type df space -h, yeah, it's still 1.2 gigs. All right, so that is correct. That is the correct amount. If we type free dash, yeah, we're using very little memory right now. All right. Next, the localese, or the language support. So nano /Etsy /local -gen, which is a file to let us know which language files. We're going to scroll down till we get to the en_US, English US. We're going to remove the hashtag for the UTF-8 and also the ISO-8859. Those two. The reason why that one also is for Firefox. For some reason, it works better with it, with that ISO as well. So might as well put the two. If not, just do the one, the UTF-8 for the US. The same thing with other countries. They all double on that too. So Control O to save, Control X to exit. And that's clear. And then we're going to do local -gen, enter, and it will generate the language. It did. All right. And then next, one more thing. We're going to do nano /Etsy /local dot or locale dot conf config, because we need to config the language. Capital letters LANG, then equal lowercase en underscore capital S, capital U, then capital S, dot capital UTF-8. All right, so it's English US UTF-8. Control O, Control X to exit. There we go. So we got that file set up. That's clear. Next, we're going to set up the time. Now, I recommend doing it this way because of two reasons. That not only you configure the time correctly, you save the time zone, and you use NTP to make sure it's synced with the correct time and date. All right. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to type TZ select. This is a batch script that helps you set up your time. This is much better than what it used to be for Arch. Hit enter. Select the continent you're in. I'm in the Americas. Select the country you're in. I'm in the US, which is 49. Yes. And then it'll say select your time zone. I'm in Central, most areas, which I am. So I'm going to select number 11. And then it's going to say is this your correct time? The local time now is this, the universal is this. I'm using local times. Yes, it is. All right, I'm going to select 1. There you go. Next, we're going to set up a symbolic link. So we're going to type ln space dash sf for a special frame to make sure that the link is always there. That's what it is. Space /us user, which is USR, / share, / zone info, / America, / Chicago, because that's the closest where I'm at. So if you go into zone information, you just select the continent and then the city. And then space / we're going to move it to the /Etsy / local time, which is a file we're going to create, set up. There we go. Now we're going to type Pacman space dash capital S NTP. This will be a program that will sync the time with the time servers out there. So now that we have it set up, let's do NTP date. Whoops. NTP date, the command, space dash lowercase s space the actual server is located at pool.ntp.org. That's the website. Hit enter. It's going to take a couple seconds to sync and update. There you go. And if you type date, double check, correct date and time, Central Time, perfect. And then we're going to set up the hardware clock, HW clock, space dash dash SYSTOHC, so the system hardware, space dash dash, it's either UTC, if it's just Linux only, you only got Linux on your system, use UTC. If you have a dual boot with another operating system, use local time. Here on my main system that I use, I have local time. I don't use UTC. The reason why it's all one computer with dual boot, I have to do it. If it wasn't for that, it would just be UTC. But here we just have Linux on Virtualbox, so we're just going to do UTC. It's going to take a couple seconds. There we go. Done. All right, clear. And then we're going to do the init ramfs. That's the MK init CPIO that you've seen, which basically creates an image configuration for Linux. All right. So it already did that through the pack strap, but we're going to do it again to just double check, make sure it's correct. So mk init cpio -p, what type of system protocol? Linux. And then hit enter. And there you go. Shouldn't take that long. Done. All right. Next, bootloader, which is, we're going to use grub. So I'm going to type pacman space dash capital S space grub. That's what we're going to use. And then OS prober. If you don't have any other operating system, it's just Linux, you could leave it at just grub only. But if you have Windows or other operating systems, you want to put the OS-prober, but I recommend putting it on anyways, even with other Linux dual, triple boots or whatever. Install it anyways. All right. There we go. It's not going to take up much space. There we go. Done. Now we are going to install grub. So we're going to do grub dash install space dash dash recheck, meaning that we're going to recheck all the partitions to make sure, and it'll do it automatically for us. Space, and we're going to put grub in /dev/SDA, the first one. So like I have two drives. I have my SSD and a hard drive. So SDA and SDB. I have to install it on SDA. And then on your BIOS, when you boot up, make sure for boot selection where it goes to which drive that it wants to select first, make sure you select the right drive or this won't work. I learned that the hard way when I first started doing this. And then hit enter. There you go. Installation finished. No errors reported. Next, we're going to configure grub because we got to see what we have there to boot up with. Without this, it won't work. So grub /mkconfig space dash lowercase o space boot /grub dot cfg, which is config. It's gonna scan, and there you go. It just has Linux, no other system. It has a fallback image. Done. Okay, so we got that part taken care of. And then next we got the host name to do. We got set. We need a host name. So let me clear. Without a host name, it's going to be hard to recognize what computer it is. So nano /Etsy /host name, and that's where we're going to put the name in here. So we'll just say Arch Linux PC. We'll name it that. Control O to save, Control X to exit. And then we need to go into the host with the S at the end. So nano /Etsy /host HOSTS. And in there, we're going to go where it says 127.0.0.1. And then underneath where it says host name, it says localhost. We remove that and put Arch Linux PC, the same name as we have for the host name. It just helps specifically with Firefox and other web browsers. Trust me, it's a lot easier doing this. You don't have to do it. I recommend it. It's up to you. Control O to save, Control X to exit. That's clear. And then the next setup is the network setup. For the wired setup, if you have Ethernet hooked up like I do, I'm going to type systemctl space enable, all right, space dhcpcd dot service, and that will, when it boots up next time, it'll automatically go to the DHCP and it'll give us internet connectivity. That's if you have a desktop and Ethernet connected. If you have a wireless network like a laptop or a netbook or anything like that, or a desktop that's not using an Ethernet, using Wi-Fi, you need to install, if you type pacman space dash capital S, you need to install IW, and you need to install WPA underscore supplement space dialog. Those three applications. You need those three to use Wi-Fi menu. If you don't, you won't be able to keep a permanent connection on or connect at all. If you don't do that, you're screwed. All right. So make sure you do that. And then the last thing is we need to set up the password for the root, for the admin itself. So pass WD, enter, and put in a password here. And I'll say successful, cool beans. All right, and we're done. So exit. And then we're going to unmount. So we're going to do umount, space dash capital R, repetitive, that's what it means, space / mount, the main mount. There we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do shutdown. Normally you would do reboot and then reboot, but I'm not going to. I want to shut down / capital P / now. The reason why is I want to unmount the drive. If you had a USB stick or a CD-ROM, you would just remove it after reboot. So let me go here. Search, remove. There we go. And now I'm going to create a snapshot. It's better to do this than to do a clone. I used to do clones instead, but then I decided, no, I'll just do snapshots. It uses less space. First space install. There we go. Done. All right. Now if we restart, there you go. We got the grub menu here for Arch. If you hit enter, should start. There we go, the login. All right, so we're going to log into root and then put in your password. So we got the base part installed. So type df space -h. As you can see there, we have about 1.3 gigs of data, and that's just the base part. You know, we didn't install graphics, desktop environments, audio, any programs, nothing else. Just the bare bone minimum for Arch to even do this. All right. This is why I like it, because you learn. So if someone else is doing, let's say, Ubuntu, and they don't know how to fix Grub, guess what? You know how to fix Grub and use some of the functionalities because you learned it through Arch, which could be used in other Linux distros. Why many other people who do Linux use Arch Linux wikis pages for Linux references, because they do such a great job in that wiki for information. All right, so now that we're here under root, if you were doing Wi-Fi, you would have to do the Wi-Fi menu, set up the router again for the last time. That's it. You don't have to worry again after you do that. If you're on desktop, you don't have to do anything else. Just type ping after you set up with your internet -3 just to test. You know, if you got internet, which we do, clear. We're going to now add a user. We need to do that. Make it a lot easier when we're under our own username than under root. So let's type user add -m lowercase m uppercase G, and then we're going to add wheel. You can add other source information in here like video, audio, and other stuff, but wheel is good enough. You don't have to add all the other stuff on there. -lowercase s /bin, where we're putting it, type of we're using bash, so in there, and then at the end, space, your username you want to create. So I'm going to type George B. No, I don't want to do that. Let's do Archman. Yeah, Archman. There we go. Done. Okay, now we got to create a password for the username. So we're going to type pass wd space archman. It's going to ask for that password, not the password for the admin, for the username password. So we're going to put in a different one in there and do it again. There we go. Done. And the next step is we got to set up the sudo rights for the user. So this is how you do it. This is how I recommend. Nano /etc/sudoers. And then in there, we're going to scroll all the way down towards the end, right after where it says root. All right. We're going to put an enter, go back up. And we're going to put archman, which is the username, and do the rest. All in capital letters equals in parentheses, capital letters all, close parentheses, space, all again. Exactly how root is, but putting the username instead of root in its place. And then down where it says, same thing without a password. I hate doing this where I have to put passwords all the time with stuff. It'll give you up to 10 minutes of not putting a password. And then after 10 minutes, you have to re-put the password for safety reasons. This just makes it a lot easier. Uncomment that hashtag right there, and that's it. Most people will do the second one where it says uncomment to allow members of group wheel to execute any command, which is normally what you want to do. I do it the second one because it does this without the password stuff. All right. Then Control O to save, Control X to save and exit, and that's it. And now we're going to exit out of root, and we're going to log into Archman, and then password. There we go. Now we're in Archman at Arch Linux PC. I like that. That's cool. You know what? I'm going to start using that. I'm going to my main system again. When I redo my computer, I'm going to use that. Anyways, next, what we're going to do is update the mirrors. I'm going to double check that again by typing sudo, because now we're using a username, not root. Sudo space pacman space dash capital S lowercase y. There we go. I know it's the terminal looks small, but we'll get it bigger later on. But for now, we're just gonna have to deal with it at this size. So now we got to, well, we updated the mirrors. It's still pretty fast. It's really good, but we still need to update the Pacman configuration. The reason why is there's some stuff in there we need to change to make the syncing of the package database more accurate. So we're going to go into it by sudo nano /etc/pacman.config. It's the configuration for Pacman. So we're going to scroll down halfway down where it says miscellaneous options, and where it says color, remove the hashtag because I like to see color in my terminal. Then underneath where it says verbose package list, underneath there I'm going to hit enter and go back up. I'm going to type I love candy. I do like candy, but I don't eat candy much anymore. You're going to capitalize the I, the L, and the C. Make sure you do that. The reason why you'll see this once I get this finished. It's kind of hard to explain it unless I show it to you. We're going to scroll all the way down to the repo sections. And where it says multi-lib, because we're on 64-bit, we need 32-bit libraries, so we need access to that. So we're going to uncomment the hashtag where it says multi-lib in the brackets, and where it says included equals Etsy Pacman D / mirrorless. We need to remove it from that. All right, now towards the end of the file, we're going to go all the way down. We're going to do a custom repo, and we're going to add the AUR to this, and we're going to do a AUR helper. We're going to use Yowert, so we need to add this into it. So in brackets, we're going to put in Arch Linux FR, FR in close brackets. Next line, SIG, which is the capital S, and then level with capital L, space equals space never with capital N. All right. Hit enter. Next line, server with a capital S, space equals http repo.archlinux.fr /$arch. Enter. Control O to save, Control X to exit. So now, if we type sudo pacman dash capital S lowercase y, enter. There you go. So we got 2 more repos, and it's been updated. And now we got to install Yowert. So if you type sudo pacman dash capital S and type in the word Yowert, it's going to install that. Yes. There is another way to install Yowert, but this is a better way. Trust me, I prefer this way than this other way where we have to install it manually straight into it and make file and all that. No. I used to do that. This is better. To test Yowert, I'm going to hit clear. If you type Yowert and let's say like Numix, there we go. Color and also the Yowert format. And basically you just put in the number, hit enter, and follow the instructions, and we'll do that later, but right now I just want to see if it worked. All right, so now we got the mirror and the Pacman configuration set up. Now we can start doing some installs. So first things first, we got to install Xorg and the drivers. So this is my recommendation. This is how I do it. There are other people that use a lot less. I recommend adding these additional files that you're going to see. It works for me. All right. So sudo pacman dash capital S. So we're going to install Xorg server, which is the base of it, and then Xorg server dash utils for utilities, and Xorg dash apps space. You could do without the utils or apps, but I recommend adding them just in case. Now, next is the drivers. If you have NVIDIA, install your NVIDIA. If you have ATI, install ATI. If you have Intel, install Intel. Here we have Virtualbox. I'm going to install the Virtualbox driver. So it's Virtualbox dash guess dash utils. The guess utilities. So because I'm using Virtualbox. Space, we're going to install the Xorg drivers. The reason why I want to install this in just in case as a fallback using the Mesa drivers or other drivers, because it will automatically try to recognize and use the correct one. Space Xorg dash xinit. We need the xinit so we know how to configure which desktop environment when we boot up. But there's a way to get around that, and I'll show you. But it's good to install this. Space xorg twm. It's one of the first and oldest Windows managers. We're going to use this to test if xorg works. You'll see what I mean. Space xorg dash xclock, just for the TWM Windows Manager, and then xterm, which is a GUI terminal interface, one of the oldest ones. You don't have to install the TWM and the xclock or the xorg apps or the tills if you want to. The other stuff you have to, but I'm installing this so you could see what I'm talking about after we install it. So hit enter. With this repo group, it says all of these, yes. And the next one for drivers, yes. Now it says here there are 4 providers available for the library. If you have NVIDIA, choose number 4. The other ones are the older ones, 2 and 3. If you don't, if you have ATI or Intel or Virtualbox, choose 1, Mesa. It says here for the Virtualbox guest modules, choose number 2, the dash module for Arch, number 2, not number 1. There you go, 45 megabytes download, 184 installed. Let's go ahead and install that. And after it's done here, we're going to test xorg and make sure xorg and the graphics are working. All right. Now we got to, because it's in VirtualBox, I recommend this. If you're using VirtualBox, this is only for VirtualBox to install this. If you have just raw hardware, you don't have to do this, skip this step. But for VirtualBox, you have to sudo systemctl space enable vbox services. This will, if you don't do this, it won't work. Okay? Because you need to enable the vbox services. There you go. Now we got to start it. Just because we enable it doesn't mean it's still going to work. We need to start it. So where it says systemctl after that, instead of enable, put start. It will start it. There you go. It just changed the mode of the terminal. Perfect. That's a good sign. Next, we're going to type start x. This will test using TWM as the Windows Manager. There you go. You see that? That's how it looks. This is the oldest graphical Windows Manager. This was the first. See that? There's the X clock right there. 2 terminals right here. To exit, go into one of the terminals right here, which is xterm, as you can see here. It's just type exit. There you go. See that? So we know we got xorg and the video drivers working. That's a good sign. All right. Next, the audio drivers, like also Pulse Audio and all that. I know people are saying Pulse Audio is better in certain ways. It's good to have Pulse Audio, trust me. Also, it would be great if also was a little bit better, but it's good to have both. So we're going to install also plugins, and we're going to install also dash utils, and then we're going to also install also dash OSS, the open source audio system. That's what that is. It's good to have that one in there. Then Pulse Audio. and then pulse audio dash ALSA, and then Pavo control. Whoops, control. Oh, ignore. It's kind of screwed up when it does this. They're fixing on this bug issue. It'll be fine. The Pavo control is the graphical interface controller for Pulse Audio, and then the Pulse Audio dash ALSA is a file to link Pulse Audio with ALSA. And then we need to install the 32-bit sound driver, so lib32 dash lib pulse space lib32 dash ALSA dash plugins. There you go. 59 megabytes download, 266 to installed. Let's see how it is after it's done here. All right, so we are done. Now we need to go into the mixer to make sure the volume levels are correct. So we're going to type ALSA mixer, and it's muted, so we're going to unmute it. And then PCM, I'm just going to raise that one too as well. And then that's it. Exit. And then we're going to test it. So we're going to do speaker dash test dash C, meaning how many channels? 2. There we go. It works. It's a little bug. I just heard it. So they know about this part right here, but it's only on Virtualbox, not on regular. So that we're done with that. I'm going to install now next some few extra miscellaneous stuff here, such as mlocate to set up a database to locate files much faster, and a couple of fonts, TTF, Deja Vu, TTF, Liberation, and TTF Droid. Those 3 I recommend. You could do it with just Deja Vu, but the other 2 kind of helps. And then after we're done with that, we're going to type sudo update db. That's for the mlocate. There we go. It'll find files much faster that way. Trust me, it does help. Clear. Now we're coming to the interesting part. We're coming to the actual install of the desktop environment. So with this one, we're going to install LXDE. All right, I just want to do a lightweight. I don't want to do XFCE. I think LXDE is kind of cool. It's very lightweight, works great. A lot of people like using some of their apps. So let's install that. So sudo pacman dash capital S. So we're going to type LXDE, which is a package for all the LXDE packages. And we're going to install also Firefox as the web browser. Just put a space in there. We're going to put in Flash Player. Yeah, I know. People are saying, why install it? Just installed it. Because Firefox does not have Flash Player installed by default like Chrome does. So might as well put it in. xdg-user-dirs directories. This is for creating the home directory, documents, music, photos, videos, that kind of setup. That's what that is. Network Manager. I like Network Manager. It works. It's very useful, command line and all that. Now next, network dash manager dash applet. This is the applet for network manager. Arch Linux dash wallpaper. It gives us some other additional wallpaper. Why not? HTOP, so we can see how we're doing a resource. It's good to have that. That's a good app to have. Clip it for clip management. You know, when you do copy paste. Bash complete or completion. Excuse me. Bash dash completion. It gives you the ability to hit the tab to complete words that is in the directory or files or whatever, or certain commands. Trust me, it helps to have that program file. Numix, and the reason why I install in Numix dash themes is it'll install GTK 2 and 3. It just makes it easier if you did that. And then GKSU for password management and GKT environment. There we go. It's going to ask us how many of the files in the group, all the LXDE, yes. For the library x264, do the default number 1. 116 megabytes to download, 412 to install. Let's go ahead and install it. As you can see, Firefox, it's a big one. But you see how fast it downloads with the mirror because it's close, fast, and latest? It just does it so much better. Look at that. There you go. See? It just works. Works really well. If you type df-h, let's see how much we installed so far. 2.5 gigs. And basically you're done if you want to say, but I recommend installing a few extra stuff. I recommend a few extra things. I'm going to show you which ones. But as you can see right there, that's not that much. Yeah. So even if you had a 32 gig SSD, it's still good. Still have plenty of space. So file management and compression, I recommend adding this. It makes your life a lot easier. If you want to mount and, you know, uncompress or compress and stuff like that, these are files, even file management. When you use a file manager and you need to preview stuff and things like that, this is what I'm going to show you. All right. GVFS, VFS-MTP. The GVFS will give you the waste basket and the other basic mounts. The MTP is for multimedia protocols, you know, devices that you hook up to your computer. Let's see, GVFS dash Gphoto 2. That's for like smartphones and stuff. That's what that one is. GVFS dash SMB for Samba, you know, for Windows. It mounts Windows. Without this, you'll make your life a living hell if you don't. SSHFS is for SSH. Yeah. NTFS FS-3G. I think that one is for NTFS, period. Then Tumblr for preview for thumbnails for pictures. Popular glib. That's the same as Tumblr, but for the library for it. FFmpeg thumbnailer. This is for the thumbnails for videos. Free type 2 is for the fonts. And then raw thumbnailer. This one is a backup to Tumblr. Events is the graphical interface for PDFs and other file format viewers. Zip and unzip for compression. UNRAR is another type of compression type. P7 zip gives you all the rest. And then Xarchiver is a graphical interface to compress and uncompress. There we go. Enter 50, download 259 after installed. This right here will help you. Trust me. If you don't do this, trust me, you're going to have problems. Do this. Don't skip this one. If anything, this is one you don't want to skip. All right, done. Now, if you want printer setup, this is what I recommend, especially if you have HP or any other, or Samsung or any other ones out there, but specifically for HP. Pacman-S, you want to install cups. Ghost scripts. Sometimes it's installed, sometimes it's not. Just install it anyways. GS fonts for the fonts for the printer. Cups dash PDF, meaning you want PDF viewing for printing capability. Fumatic. Basically what Fumatic dash DB dash engine. Basically what Fumatic does is the open source drivers for printers. And there are several ones. There's the engine, and then there's the Fumatic dash DB, which is the base, and then Fumatic dash DB dash non-free. That's the regular non-free drivers. HP Lip is the drivers for HP printers. There's one for Samsung. I think it's SIMP. I believe it is. It's been a while for Samsung, but for HP, I know it's that. And then there is system dash config. Whoops. Dash printer. And that's the graphical interface to configure your printer, you know, a GTK version. 51 to download, 253 to after it's installed. And you'll see when we get into LXDE, you'll see, I'll show you real quick with my printer how easy it is to do this after we're done. All right, now we need to enable the printer capability, because if we don't do that, we won't have printing capability. We won't be able to configure, period. So sudo syst ctl enable org dot cups D dot services. There we go. We got that done. You could install GStreamer in the codecs. I recommend doing that through a different way. I'll show you. Doing it through here would just take way too long. And then I would, let me just type clear. Let's set up a few other systemd setups. That's what Arch Linux uses. That's what we could use, systemctl. That's what that does. We're going to enable, oops. Oops. Enable network manager. So we're going to type network with a capital N and then manager with a capital M. All right. Enter. There we go. If we don't do this, can't get network started. Trust me, I learned from this kind of stuff. And then next, sudo systemctl enable LXDE, which is the desktop manager when it boots up. But you'll see how we could bypass it and automatically go straight into LXDE without having to go into the boot display manager. So hit enter, we got that done, and then type sudo nano etc, and we're going to configure the LXDM, and it's in the LXDM folder, LXDM config. And there we go. In the configuration on the first line, it says auto login. I'm going to remove the hash mark. I want to automatically log in. So after it says auto login equal, remove the one that has in there and put in Archman as your username. And where it says default session, remove the hash mark from that one also, and that's it for that one because it's LXDE. And down where it says numlocks, we're going to remove the hash mark there, and after where it says numlocks equals 0, remove the 0, put the 1, and if you have number keypad on your keyboard. Like I have a full-size keyboard with numlocks, the keypad on the side, the right side, because I have a desktop. If you have a laptop, do it that way as well. Control O to save, Control X to exit. And one last thing, let's do Yowert. Let me show you how that works. So we're going to type Yowert. We're going to install several things. Numix dash circle dash icon dash theme dash git. If we hit enter, it's going to search. There it is. It's available. Hit number 1 to select it. Now remember, when you get anything from the AUR, you're downloading something you're not sure about, that it may not be safe. It's up to you. Most of the time, 99.9% of the time, it's safe. It's that 0.0001% of the time, whatever, it's not. But you can always see what you're configuring. So it says edit build package. You could do that. You can see what what's being built and being configured. Here, I trust it. I know it's safe. This is a safe file. I know the person who maintains it. It's a good person. I'm not going to worry about it. By default, it's set to yes. You want to hit N, no. Continue building, yes. It's going to go do it. It's going to say, hey, do you want to install these files? Yes. There we go. It says, do you want to build for this package, because it's going to have 7. No. Continue. It's starting to get cold now. The second half of the fall. That's the part that I don't like because then it's getting closer to winter. Let's see. Now it's going to compress and get it ready. It depends on packages because it's doing a package build and it's building it from scratch. There we go. Hit enter. That's why if you go straight to the repositories, it's already built. It just installs it. Here, most of the time with the AUR you have to build. And you can find packages from any Linux distro without a problem. It's like the best place to get stuff. Hit enter. There you go. This one takes a while to do. This one's like one of the longest ones. Enter, install, done. Oh God, I hate doing this one because it takes a while. Another one I recommend is numix-themes-archblue-git. Archblue theme is kind of like Numix Frost, but better. The GTK is better for some reason because Numix Frost has been having problems with GTK, and I use this one instead. It looks better. It really does. Number one, so you can see it's quite popular. There's some notes here. No, continue. No, continue. Yes. No, continue. All right. Now this one, continue. The previous one was just for the icons, the Numix circle ones. The square has been having problems, so I just use the circle. If I want the square like how you see here on my regular desktop, I had to manually put it in. So there we go. And there's Arc. Arc is not that bad. It has a nice theme. I like the Arc theme also. The icons, I don't like their icons, but the regular theming I do, which isn't that bad. This one's kind of long too. Not as long as the previous one, the Numix circle. We're almost done. And then once we're done with all this, we're going to reboot, and then we're going to be in the desktop environment. Yay! It has OpenBox as the Windows manager, and you'll see what I mean once we get in it. And I was thinking of doing one for OpenBox for those who are interested in Windows managers. So there we go. Done. All right. Yowert. There's the GTK theme dash arc. And we want could do we'll just do number 2. It's a Git version. No. Continue. There we go. Done. All right, there's 2 more things real quick. I know this is pretty long. How long? Wow, now we're 19 minutes. Yeah, that's pretty long. let's see, we're going to do X cursor dash menta dash get. I like the cursor from the menta from the Manjaro cursors, the menta theme set. So number 1. This one shouldn't take that long. There we go. And then one more is we're going to install PAMEC. This one is also from PAMEC-AUR. This one's also from Manjaro. It's their own graphical interface using GTK for doing updates, just like how you see right here, and package management. Works pretty good for Arch, and we're going to install that. This one is a little bit long, but not too long. This one shouldn't take that long. But it's good to use this. Now you could just download, there's another app out there for just for updates, like an update indicator, and you can still go then use in your terminal and just check it on a daily basis, like every day, just check and then do updates if you want to. But using this kind of helps. It's just easier. All right, we're all done. So let's reboot, and that should do it. So now that we go into LXDE, should pop. There you go. Clip it, save history. This is for the first time. Click yes, and there you go. Let's see. Enable full screen mode. If we go here to monitor, there we go. Let's reboot. It's a little bug in Virtualbox. They're still trying to fix a lot of these bug issues in Virtualbox. Wish I had a capture card so I could do it through my computer monitor. It would be a lot easier. Anyways, there you go. Full screen mode. It's a little issue right here, the light blurriness right here on the top and the left. Ignore that. But there you go. It works. We're on full screen mode. As you can see right here, it's not bad. You know, if we go to custom and look and feel, let's see, Arch Blue, let's see how it looks. Let's go to panel settings, appearance, system theme. Let's put it on the top. Let's see. Let's increase it a little bit. There we go. Icon, let's increase it to 26. Appearance, font, color, that's fine. CPU, let's remove that. We don't need that. Let's remove that. I'm trying to remember. I think it's this. Percentage P, I think. Yes, there we go. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, got that. So that's Numix Arch Circle. Let's do. No, let's leave it at arch like this. Arc. We'll use arc. Color, leave it alone. Icon theme, Numix circle. Mouse cursor, meta. It's a bug issue. I don't know why it's doing that. I'll just leave it at that. For the Windows border, let's use. Let's use the. I don't know why it doesn't have arc. I thought I had that in there. Well, anyways, we'll put it in Numix blue. Well, that's fine. Font, slight, and RGBM, that's fine. Others, looks fine. There we go. So as you can see right here, it works. Let's remove that. We don't need that. Like showing that stuff. Some people don't. I do. System under files for wallpaper. Let's go to shares. Linux. We'll do this one. There we go. And looks a lot better. You know, it's got a menu right here. System, user, share, icon. Let's go to icon, Numix circle, create apps. Let's see. There we go. There we go. That looks a lot better. Let's go to here. Let's put a spacer. There we go. That's better. Okay, so as you can see right here, let's go in there. Let's add terminal. Add. Go. Let's remove that. So if we go like that, there we go. Let's go to the terminal, preferences. Let's make this white, not gray. There we go, that should do that. Bold. Let's do 11. This one. There we go. That's much better. Okay, so there you go. You're all set. As you can see right here, we got the update notifier. We got the network manager applet and also clip it, time, date. So if you click here, go to package manager, go under the little hamburger lining, preferences, put in your password for the username, and then it says remove unrequired dependencies. I usually click yes, put it to 3 hours here. AUR, switch it on, search in AUR default, check for updates AUR, and do not ask confirmation package because we enabled not to put password. Makes it a lot easier. And there you go. So if I type GStreamer, which is the codecs that I was telling you to make it a lot easier for you, click on these codecs, and I'm clicking right now. The ugly ones, the 32-bit, not that one. GST lib AV, black, bad, base, good, ugly, Python, these three right here. That's it. Apply. Do Mesa. Close. Commit. There you go. Now it's installing the codecs, and this will give you the ability for both video and audio. So you can play music and play video. And it's just about done. Without these, trust me, you won't be able to use any application, play video or audio. There you go. You're done. So we're all set. Everything, I showed you how to configure the desktop here a little bit, and you got your menu right here. You know, custom look and feel. That's LXDE app right here. LX Appearance. So you can see here. You could also, if you go to LX session configuration right here, you could go to auto start and auto start other stuff out there, like if you need to, let's say if you have Compton for composition, you can enable it right here. You know, apps that need to be launched and other stuff like that. There's also for the monitor, for the resolution and refresh rate, which one, you know, it'll say turn on depending on the monitors detected. It only has the one. This is the the LX RNR. All right. There's also for the printer right here, as you can see here. Oh, also for the printer, one tip, go to Package Manager, HPLIP. There is a few extra applications to use this drivers and software. If you go to Details, click Dependencies, and down in here, they have some extra programs that you need. The Python-Pillow, install that. Put a password. You need that. And also Python-PYQT5. Install that as well. Those two are required for the HP GUI interface that you'll see for the setup. And then that's it. So if you go to accessories, there she is, HP Device Manager. The setup, go to setup device. There's a kink in this. This is for Linux, not for Windows. If you go to network, here it says network, Ethernet, wireless network, which my HP printer is wireless, but it's connected through my router, which is also connected to my PC through the Ethernet. So make sure you connect that. Show advanced options. This is a way to get around to fix it. Click where it says manual discovery. Click where it says IP address and put in the IP address of the printer. Jet direct port. Leave it at 1. Hit next. It should automatically see it. Discovered it. If not, hit refresh. It should discover it right away. You should have no problem. I have the MV5540. Hit next. And should read it. And it should have the PPD file. That's the configuration for specific files. That is the protocol that is needed for cups to recognize the printer. Without that, if it doesn't have it there automatically, then that means your cup print services is not enabled. All right. And then all you do is put description. I'm going to put here NV 5540, location, George's room. Hit add printer. And then it'll ask you, we need permission. Well, you need root permissions. So the administrator, so its username is root, password is your admin password. And give it a couple seconds. You'll see it pop up here. MV, the printer's been selected. And then in here, the information should populate for additional stuff. You'll see that just any second now. There you go. And up here, it gave the bubble again. So if you go to status, it sees it, the supplies, how much of my ink, the different actions you could do. There you go. You're all set. Now you have to do one more thing. You go down to preferences, printer settings. This is the graphical interface I was telling you about. See, system configure, printer, cups configuration, GTK version. You're going to select the printer, right click, enable and share has to be already selected, and where it says set as default, click that. Do you want to set this as your system-wide default printer? Set as system default printer. Yes. Okay. Same thing here. Username, root, and the root password, the system admin password. Put that. There you go. Now you see the check mark. You're all set. Printer set, done. You're all set. You're perfectly, you got everything you need. You got your terminal, your file manager, your web browser, you got your printer, your file, updates and installs and removal. Everything else is set for you from here on. You should be able to do this on your own, install whatever else you want. I just made it easy enough for you to show that it's not that hard to do it with the command line and get exactly what you want. Now I will show you here. I want to reboot. I'm going to show you with HTOP some information and a few other things on the command line as well. That doing it this way gives you the base start without all the other crapware. Kind of like on your cell phone, your smartphone, you get it from a provider and they have all, like with Verizon, they put all this Verizon junk or AT&T junk or T-Mobile or Sprint junk. You don't want all that bloatware. This makes it better for you, doing it this way. It's a lot easier. It's a lot smoother. It'll run a lot better. Arch runs better, period. Click and go to System Tools, HTOP. There you go. It's using 187 megabytes, and I'm doing it with LXDE out of 4 gigs. No swap. Some people say you need swap. You don't need swap. If it's 4 gigs or more, there's no need a swap. Your RAM memory runs smoothly. I've never, ever, ever, ever seen on 4 gigs that it would need swap. You'll have people telling you in other videos that no, it's necessary to have swap. No. Virtual memory with programs will never use more than it's actually using, more than 75%. If it's using more than 75%, it's a virus. Throwing it at 100% constantly, you have a problem. But if it's more than 75% of your memory use, that means you're loading one program after another, after another, after another. That will put strain. It doesn't matter if you have swap or not. It's not needed. I have 16 gigs on my base computer. I don't need swap. It's not needed. If they'll say so-called experts, they don't tell you that person's name, and then they don't give you an article or a video or something. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. You don't need swap. All right. And let me go to the command line here real quick. And let me All right. So let me show you one thing here. If you use the command line to install something like, let's say, INXI, let's install that. Very simple, you know. And let's say you have additional dependencies. Let's install a few of those. All right. See how fast everything goes smoothly. So the DMID code, we're going to install HDD temp net dash tools LM sensor there we go, and the Mesa demos. I think that's it. Yep, that's it. So let's install that. And trying to remember, I think sensor. Oh, that's at the end. Sorry. No, the man page. Sensors. No manual for sensor. Where is it? With a dash. No. Maybe there's a man page for sensor. No. All right. Sensors. I could have sworn there is. Oh. I'm an idiot. LM. I keep on saying LS. Oh, God. I'm having issues today. No, maybe there's a man page. I'll try that. No, there isn't any. Okay, so I thought there was a setup. Forget it. Never mind. So let's do one last thing here. So if we type uname -a, this give you all the information, and you see the kernel information. If you type df space -h, this is for the storage, how much you're stored. Look at that, 3.8 gigs out of 20. Wow. Free space -h. Look at that, 194 megabytes out of 4 gigs. Clear, if we type INXI space -F, gives you more information. As you can see there, it's pretty simple. See, it has open box and all the info. So it's simple. It's easy, folks. It's not that hard to use. Hopefully, this was informative for you. And you can configure a lot of this stuff too and all that. But that's it. That's all I have for today. And hopefully this helped you figure out a better way of installing Arch and trying it out with the command line and seeing all the different stuff that you could do and my recommendations, and take it, do whatever you want with that information. I don't care. I'm here to help you and all of my videos ad-free. I don't ask for Patreon or anything else. This is for an information, educational, informative YouTube channel. So hopefully this will give you more inspiration to try Arch. So let me know what you think. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. If you give me a thumbs down, well, I can understand. Maybe something I did didn't make you like it, but that's okay. Leave comments down below. Let me know what you think. And there are plenty of other YouTubers out there that give you a lot of information. I'm going to be mostly Arch based more than anything. So if you like the other type of Linux stuff, try the other guys. But you want to learn more about not just Arch but Linux, this is the channel, because this is where you do it through the command line. That's it. Take care, folks, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Peace, love, and happiness.